In a world where Carolina Panthers fans have an insatiable thirst for Panthers news and opinions, only one podcast roars ferociously. It's the C3 Panthers Podcast.
Carolina Panther fans, C3 family, what is up? I am your co-host, Cody Lashley. You might be wondering, where's the professor? Where's the professor? Well, it turns out when your job is a professor, sometimes you have to attend graduation. Tony's doing his graduation tonight for a few of his students, or his entire class, I guess. He will be joining us later on in the show. But tonight, your boys are going to hold it down, hold it strong, and the show goes on, fellas. As always, I'm going to do this with my man, the voice that makes them moist, my man, CK. CK, what's up, brother?
What is up, man? Listen, it's the offseason. That's really about the extent of this. We're going to rehash some conversations tonight, and we're going to, I think, let you guys in chat and the phone calls kind of dictate where we go. But I'm excited to be here with you boys and, to be 1 week closer to Panthers football.
Yes, sir, man. I mean, it's going to be a long off summer, but hey, this C3 Panthers podcast is going to be here to get everybody through it. Kind of a slow news day. I mean, it's really that point in time where it's like we're kind of looking for things to talk about. There's a few news bits here and there that we'll discuss, but kind of slow. Going to be a good chill night for some good discussion. As my man ATX19 says, hit that like button. Next, joined by the stat daddy, the bat daddy. His beard is immaculate. His sunglasses are even cooler, dude. It's Greg. What's up, brother?
What's going on, buddy? It's Tuesday night. These are actually my 3D glasses that I got from the Multiverse of Madness the other night. So I just enjoy seeing life in 3D now after that.
Right.
Movie. But yeah, man, my dog must have been excited too because she was quiet the whole time during the pre-show, like the warm up or whatever, the meeting we'll have before the show. And as soon as we hit live, she started barking. So and there she goes again. But she's excited for the Panthers C3 Panthers podcast too. So it's Tuesday night, fellas. Let's talk some Panthers football.
Well, yeah, and listen, you already know, boys, we're going to have this discussion with the best Panther fans in all of YouTube, and you already know them and love them. It's our man Drew, ATX19, Carson 1, David Screws, Jeff R, Joey the Blind Panther Esquivel, Lynn Leonhart, Matt Knows Nothing, Nick N, my man Kenneth Panther Pickle, Panthers are Kings, 9 Live Panther Podcast, The Real Space Cadet, Tim Estes, Trail 1. Boys, ain't nothing to it but to do it. Let's roll. Let's jump into this conversation, and let's start with the most recent news that did break today. The Carolina Panthers have indeed come to an agreement with their first-round pick, left tackle. And trust me, I know he's a left tackle. Twitter will not let me live down that he is for sure a left tackle. But the Panthers indeed come to an agreement with Ikem Ekwonu, the number 6 overall pick, gets a 4-year fully guaranteed deal worth $27 million along with the 5th-year option. His signing bonus comes in at $17.2 million. And boys, it's almost like a breath of fresh air just to be celebrating that the Panthers have signed a brand new badass offensive lineman. But Cade Mays has signed his contract, so things are now starting to kind of get underway. We haven't heard any numbers announced for the Panthers yet, but Ikem Ekwonu is officially a Carolina Panther. What are you guys thinking, man? Any thoughts off the top of your head?
Yeah, I mean, I had one. Isn't it pretty rare to have your first round draft pick signed that quickly? Like last year, it took a while for JC Horn to sign, and maybe rare is the wrong word for it, but it doesn't feel like it's the norm.
Well, I think a lot of it just depends and it differs on position, averages for what position they're going to play. It's funny. We've been having this conversation about where Ikemen Kwanu fits on the offensive line. Is it left tackle or is it left guard?
Right.
I wonder if any of those conversations kind of work their way into his contract negotiations, because I would think that the left tackle money probably is more money, even if it's a rookie contract. So, this is, I think it just takes time depending on the position as well. We're still waiting for some other people to sign. A lot of quarterbacks have famously waited until like the 12th hour to sign. You mentioned JC Horn. JC didn't get signed until pretty late last year. So, yeah.
I didn't think of it. Is it go by position as far as what you're signing on your rookie? I thought it was by like when you got picked in the draft, not so much as position.
Well, it is, but I would imagine that that might be for the rookie scale. But I wanted to say I think that it also is dependent too. Like if you're a quarterback, I think that number is a little bit higher.
My understanding too is most of the negotiation is about the signing bonus more so than anything else. Like it's usually not about actual salary. It's about how much they're getting up front of that salary and how much of it's guaranteed or something like that. I remember that was the issue with like Joey Bosa when he had his. Like he was the same way. And like he went to the Chargers, who were notoriously like, not going to be negotiating a rookie contract beyond the normal terms. And he was holding out. Like he didn't even go to camp, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
Yep.
I had something on the tip of my tongue that I wanted to say about it, but as soon as I had the chance, I forgot it. Give me a second.
No, it's fine, man. Like I'm just, it's I think you're right that the signing bonus is normally what kind of extends these things down the road. But we're going to have a further in-depth conversation about our offensive line a little bit further down the road. Without further ado, let's not bury the lead anymore. We see the thumbnail, you see the title for tonight's show is Baker Mayfield still in play for the Carolina Panthers. And this is something that hasn't gone away, man. There are still rumors that this could indeed happen. And when you hear Matt Rule in interviews, he continues to talk about not wanting to play Matt Corral sooner than he has to, and he doesn't want to start the rookie quarterback.
Right.
Yet at the same time, there has been a lot of lip service done that this offensive line had to be made better for Sam Darnold, and that Sam Darnold had to be better himself. That being said, what do you think about Baker Mayfield? I feel like we've probably had this conversation like 50 other times before, but revisiting it now, knowing that we have drafted Matt Corral, is there any scenario under any circumstance that you would want to bring Baker Mayfield on board as a Carolina Panther?
Yeah, a 1-for-1 trade for Sam Darnold. That'd be the only way. And that's not even because I think that it's going to be that much of a difference, but what's the worst that can happen? Right? Like, so the reality is, if we are going to be keeping Matt Corral out of the starting lineup until they deem him to be ready, like, what's the difference? Like, why not go with the guy who has at least made it to the playoffs? Whether he was the one who culminated in that being the case or not, he's got, he knows what it's like to play some winning football. Again, the argument is how much of that was him and how much of that was the system. I think it's a valid argument, but it's worth exploring if we're not having to pay anything extra and we can get Sam Darnold out of here. And I think it's a win-win for the Browns if it was a 1-for-1 trade, because you have the uncertainty surrounding Deshaun Watson, and you kind of want to put a guy in there who might be able to at least be, because Baker doesn't want to be there. You're not going to put him in there, right? You're not going to start him if Deshaun Watson isn't going to be starting. Because you've already basically burned that bridge. We've somewhat burned the bridge with Sam Darnold, I feel like. Why not go ahead and just kind of let the cards fall as they may, trade 1-for-1 and let these guys go and get this new start that they need?
Yeah, that seems to be the commonality that I hear, is that if we're going to bring him on, we want him to be to be someone who was cut first before we bring him on. And then, ladies and gentlemen, when I told you that my man Tony Dunn was literally coming back from a graduation, I mean, come on, did you think I was joking? Look at this man. There he is,
looking sharp. Looking sharp.
Oh,
Wait,
1 second.
While he's getting ready, I want to say something about Baker Mayfield.
What up?
What's
There
up,
it
Mark?
is.
There he is.
Sorry, my microphone stuff is being crazy. What's up, fellas? How are
Looking
y'all?
dapper. How are you, Professor?
I know. I just got back here. I'm gonna take this.
Sharp. But real quick with the Baker Mayfield stuff,
go ahead.
Before the draft, I didn't want Baker Mayfield, but of the quarterbacks, there were rumors of coming to Carolina. He was my choice. Not that I think that he's fantastic or anything, but it was just out of everybody there, that was the guy I wanted. Now that we've drafted Corral, I don't want Mayfield in here. Like just keep him out. And CK, what you're saying makes sense with that trade, but I feel like that's still a loss for Cleveland, because at the end of the day, then you're still paying the same money,
Right.
but you've got Sam Darnold. Who I think Baker Mayfield is way better than Sam Darnold any day of the week. I don't think he's a great quarterback, but you're right. He doesn't want to play for him.
Right. They're going to end up paying him because he's going to be cut. Right. They're not going to let him sit. I mean, they might let him sit there on the bench. Right. But they're gonna cut him. Right. So why pay him anything for somebody if you're not going to have him, if they cut him, they're paying his salary because they already picked up the 5th-year option. Right. That's going to happen regardless. So if it was the win-win situation for them is they're getting Baker off their books without having to, eat any additional costs or anything like that. Yeah, they're not getting any additional resources for him, but right now the market for Baker is so small, if I had to guess, that there isn't any, people are trying to get them to already eat portions of his contract right before they even try to trade for him. And if you can do a 1-for-1 trade with Sam Darnold, I mean, I think, like I said, it literally is a zero sum. There is no loss. There is literally no. It's a win-win situation. It can't. The only thing that could happen is Baker comes over here and he's as good as he should be, right? Mm-hmm. And he's able to do something and make this team look, maybe somewhat manageable. And then, at that point in time, maybe we hit mid-season, have an opportunity to trade him and actually get some resources for him.
Yeah.
Are there any concerns about his shoulder?
Really, not any more concerns about than I have for Sam Darnold.
Well, I mean, Sam Darnold didn't. I mean, Baker Mayfield is coming off like a torn labrum or something like that. Or remember, he played through the injury. That's one thing. Is that Baker Mayfield is more of a proven winner than Sam Darnold is, right? So but I really think this is an incremental change. That's one thing. Though there is a good side to it for Sam Darnold, is that if you send him to Cleveland, it's like he's going to get a new kind of venue, knowing that he's not got the pressure of the starting quarterback, probably going to get 4 games or so where he would be the starting quarterback. And then Deshaun Watson's going to come in, and maybe that's more of a natural role. That would be far more conducive for the Browns than them having Baker Mayfield out there, which they might. I mean, they could do that too. I
think they're going to have to be honest with you. I think that Deshaun Watson's not going to be able to play the first few games. They've got him under contract. I think they're just going to roll him out there and play with him. Who cares?
I think Baker won't show up under those.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Well, but then he doesn't get paid. If you don't show up, you don't get paid, and they don't have to pay him that money. It doesn't set back the money. You don't show up for the game, you don't get paid that money, and they don't owe you the money that you missed. So he can do that if he wants to.
And it's an audition.
But
it's an audition.
Exactly. He'd be dumb to do that.
I have a scarier question than this trade, and it goes to this: is that I've noticed that our offensive line is being ranked within projected top 10 this year, right? I told you guys that I think we could win 9 games with Sam Darnold. Mm-hmm. And I haven't seen the schedule. We're waiting for the schedule on Thursday. But this team, and the reason I think we can win 9 games with Darnold is that we've upgraded every aspect of this team since last year. Right? So I just feel like we're a better team. So we're more than 5, right? The over under for the Panthers, I think, is only 5.5 right now for the season. I'm gonna look it up, but what happens if the Carolina Panthers come out and are pretty dang good with Sam Darnold and go and win 10 games? What do you do?
Then
Well, one, that's a fantastic problem to have, right?
Yeah, but like if Sam Darnold's going to be done, he's going to be in the last year of his contract.
you trade him for a first, and you get, because it was a spectacular
But you
year,
wouldn't
and
be
you have
able
2
to.
first-round picks next year. Oh yeah, I
You
guess
Well,
you'd
you
be
couldn't
cut
trade
with
him then because you
Yeah,
don't
be
have
cut.
any time on the contract,
Yeah,
right?
true.
So, by the way, this is that list you were talking about, the projected offensive line rankings for next year,
Right.
where according to different metrics, the Panthers should have a top 10 offensive line. But I mean, the whole thing that's really tough about Baker Mayfield, right, is one, the injury history. But then number two, and right now he's so much better than Sam Darnold, and that's not even saying anything, right? Baker Mayfield is someone that the Browns don't want, but yet he's such a market upgrade from Sam. So, in my opinion,
Is he really?
Yes.
I mean, based on what he has done and the lengths that he has gone, yeah, it's undeniable. You might say that the Browns had a great football team, and that helped, which it certainly did. I think that's why many Panther fans don't want him, is because he couldn't do it with such a stacked Cleveland Brown football team.
But
I mean, listen,
that's the thing.
right? But I mean, he did to an extent. He brought him to the playoffs, and
It was
again,
stacked
that's
on defense, though, wasn't it?
Right.
They had a great defense. They
Well,
weren't
they also-
stacked.
They had
on
a crazy running game that year. They had
But they had Odell Beckham Jr., Donovan Peoples-Jones, but for running backs, they had Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt.
That's true.
Yeah,
So-
that's
I
what
guess
they
was pretty
won on
good.
that. That was all. That was the offense there, which is fine if you got a great run. I mean, that I don't like to shit on a quarterback because they had a good running game.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's
for
my
sure.
problem. Like, is when you have the mindset of like, listen, I mean, he didn't lose the games though, right? There's probably been plenty of opportunities if you go back and watch those where, yes, the games might have been won because the running game was able to get it going. But how many times have we lost a game because Sam Darnold?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, even if everybody else is playing well, how many times have we lost because, Teddy Bridgewater couldn't go down there and make that final drive happen?
Yeah.
Right. Could Sam Darnold have done the same thing? Sure. We can make hypotheticals all day, but the reality is one person was successful, one person wasn't. And
What if you win 10 games with Baker Mayfield? What do you do then in 2023?
I mean, it depends upon how it looks. I think it's got to pass the eye test. That's been
Right.
my entire thing from the get-go. It can't be a scenario like if we win 10 games, you've got to sign back, Sam Darnold
Baker.
or Baker,
Okay.
right?
That's good. Man, that's reasonable.
It's got to be, it can't be just this thing of, let's look at the numbers, let's look at the tape, let's see if it was something that was really, it's going to be valuable to bring him back, or is it something that can be duplicated by a rookie QB on a rookie contract, and see what happens there. I think that is a much more appealing way to handle it.
Yeah.
And to answer your question directly, Tony, about Sam, like, I think the best case scenario for Sam, I mean, let's say my man balls out this year. The best thing I think he's doing is auditioning to be,
I agree.
either a potential starter or a high-level backup for another football team. And it's just because I don't know that even if he has one good year, that one, it would be enough to make the Panthers question, whether or not they should or shouldn't sign him to an extension.
Right.
But on top of that, like, he's lost so much more than he has won.
Mm-hmm.
And if he's still not able to get it done this year, then, I would bet on the younger guy going forward. But again, that's not dependent on Sam having a comeback player of the year type of,
Right.
that type of
Yeah.
season.
Well,
I mean, I think if he did have a comeback player type of season, which, I mean, look, and I know this is people are like, why are you even talking about this? Is crazy. What I guess I'm trying to get to is that right now we don't believe in Sam Darnold at all.
Mhm.
And we have this potential prospect in Matt Corral.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens we all know the backup quarterback is the most popular dude in the city until he's the starter, right? So like
Right.
Matt Corral's the benefit, or I guess like it's all good on Matt Corral now because we haven't seen him play at all. He hasn't screwed up at all. He has, but if Sam Darnold goes out there and is like crazy comeback, like player of the year, which I know that's a long shot, but just say it happened 10 games.
It's possible. Yeah.
Do you then say, you know what, we're still resetting with a guy who's an unproven commodity just as well? And I just feel like that's it's such a long shot that it won't happen, thank goodness. But imagine being in that position. It would be so fucking weird.
Yeah. I think that if Sam Darnold wins that many games, like if that happened, Matt Rule's definitely signing him back because he's going to be drinking his own Kool-Aid. He's going to be like, look what I saw. I told y'all this is what I saw.
But 10 games isn't impressive enough.
It's not, but compared to winning 5 back-to-back.
Oh, yeah. 10 games would feel like undefeated at this point.
And with Baker Mayfield, I feel like he has the same – I feel like him and Sam Darnold are on the same physical playing field.
Right.
Like they have the same attributes physically, I think, but Sam Darnold's broken in his mind. That's the only reason I feel that Mayfield's an upgrade.
I think the best that Sam could possibly hope for in terms of an extension, right? If we're being pie in the sky here and being optimistic, the best that he can hope for is a Mitch Trubisky type of deal with Pittsburgh, where you gave him a 2-year deal for give him some cash, and it gives you some easy outs after the first year. So if you like his performance enough to want to build upon it, okay, cut him off a little bit. But
I just feel like it'd be really hard to walk away from a successful season for Matt Corral for a 3rd round pick, who is that you have some hope for. Like, I mean, that would take a lot, and I probably think that it's going to take a lot for that to even be a problem to consider.
Right.
I'm just saying, man, is that like, imagine winning 11 games and then hitting the reset button still. Like, good God.
Yeah.
That would be tough.
Yeah, that'd be
mean,
tough.
But don't worry. I mean, Sam Darnold ain't going to win no 11 games. But we have never seen Sam Darnold with a decent line.
Right.
And every time I feel like Sam Darnold, what his problem is he starts getting like panicky. And like as the game goes on, he gets progressively worse.
Right.
So it's like there's a couple of plays where he's like, man, he's doing some good things, and all of a sudden he's just like, oh my God, he just throws it to the wrong team. Like he's just so scared he don't know what to do. So I mean, who knows if you ever see him with I don't know. As I was just reading this article about who's the Mia Khalifa girl. She used to be a porn
with
star.
Baker, yeah.
Oh, was she with Baker?
No, there was this whole thing back when he was being, I guess he was being touted as one of the better players in the college football, and like she was trying to like get him, like it was some weird thing between him and her and Baker Mayfield, like and he had a girlfriend, and he went on, like, it was a social media thing where
how serendipitous, because it was just about her trying to rebrand herself as. Or right now she's like trying to
not a
rebrand
porn
herself.
star.
Yeah. But even though her rebranding is still coming with a focus on being an OnlyFans person, still intriguing there.
Well, yeah, that's like almost the same thing.
Yeah, it's like I now wear tassels.
Now I just work from home.
Yeah, now I just work from home. But I thought this is like the rebranding of Sam Darnold would be of a similar
right.
Like it's just going to be so hard for Sam Darnold to rebrand himself at all now.
It is. And I think part of it, like, and this isn't me saying he's going to be a good quarterback, but I still believe he hasn't gotten a fair shake. Like,
I agree with that.
Like,
I agree with that.
I feel bad for him because he is a bad quarterback, because his stats and his tape is going to tell you that. Right. But if you look at it and you're just looking at it from that perspective, you're not looking at the whole picture about what he's dealt with. And so I do feel bad for the guy in that respect. Do I think that is something that could permanently damage a mental the mental game of a quarterback, which is so mental as from the get-go, then yes, I do. I think that having your first 4 or 5 years be just a clusterfuck of everything, of like everything that could go wrong, has like injuries to fucking mono. Like, dude had mono, like and he missed like
14-year-old kid disease. Yeah.
Right. I mean, the dude has had like
and can they diagnose mono, or is that one of those things where they're just like, well, nothing's wrong with you and you're sleepy as fuck, so you must have mono.
I think they can diagnose it.
Right. But I just I'm just of the mind like yes, I think he's gotten the short end of the stick, and does that mean that I'm prepared to tell you that he's going to be a franchise quarterback? Absolutely not. Does that mean that maybe he has the maybe he deserves a shot? Yeah, just the same as every other quarterback who's never had a shot does. But unfortunately, when he has had his shot, he hasn't performed well. And when you don't perform your job well, it doesn't matter who's around you. If you're not performing your job well, then you're not. That's the tape that you put in front of people. That's what you're going to get.
Baker Mayfield threw 22 touchdowns and 21 interceptions in 2019. That was his sophomore year. They were 6-10. Then they went out and got Stefanski. They went 11-5. He went to 26 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. I don't know. I think that swapping Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold straight up might be good for everybody.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
right, just good for everybody. It's like good for Sam Darnold, puts him in a different position, in a different place. Good for the Browns because they don't have the problem of Baker Mayfield and the weirdness of that when they might need him to start a few games in the beginning of the season. And good for Carolina too, as in a fresh face. I almost just think it should just be a straight swap. That's it. No picks, no nothing.
Is it to the point you think that Baker Mayfield has no choice but to play under the last year of his rookie contract?
I don't think
initially
there's nothing he can do.
Yeah, initially we were talking about potentially having to re-sign him, and now I just can't imagine.
It's his 5th-year option. I don't think we do this. Is basically you don't make the same mistake twice, right? And the same mistake is like by giving Sam Darnold his 5th-year option too quickly. Is that would be the equivalent of extending Baker Mayfield prematurely.
Right.
I think you just do this as it's an audition moment. You know what? Baker Mayfield needs to salvage he needs to nut up and salvage his shit and say, you know what? Screw you guys. You're over putting this on me. I played hurt last year. The year before we went 11-5. You didn't have no problems with me the year before. Like, I understand that you guys think you're built to win right now, and you think that having this superstar Deshaun Watson is going to be better is necessary. But, like, he could go out there. He needs to use this season as an audition, and Carolina could be a good place for it to happen, where he could get back some of that allure that he had 2 years ago.
Look, I'm a firm believer that a lot of quarterbacks who play so well in this league are a victim, or play bad, are a victim of just where they go to. I mean, think about it. Basically, anybody who's gone to Dallas in the last 10 years is going to go with one of the best offensive lines in the league. So it doesn't matter who you put behind that line; they're going to have an advantage. Do you think Dak Prescott would have been as successful his first 2 years?
Nope.
Anywhere else? And that's just the way it falls sometimes. I think that you could put any quarterback in the NFL behind a great offensive line, you're going to see better production. Is he an elite quarterback is the question. Does the other pitcher be elite? Like, I need more than a good quarterback. If you sign I feel like if anybody signs Baker Mayfield, you're signing him to be a starter.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, well, at least that's what he wants to be right now.
Yeah.
And by the way, the why Big Jordan pointed out just a minute ago that we also have to consider all the off the field BS that comes with Baker, and it's not necessarily
what is it? What really?
But no, and that's what I'm saying. It's not like
in college it was bad. Now it's not.
Well, it's not like legal issues or him like being a bad influence or anything. It's basically him being a very sore loser. He gets in his feelings a lot. He already has an incredible beef with the Panthers I mean, maybe the greatest Panther in our team's history, and Steve Smith. They're already going back and forth. He's in a million different commercials. Who knows if we're going to be getting
The
more
commercials
of
are
those.
good though. They're great. Those commercials
They're
are great.
embarrassing. When
All of
when
You
those-
didn't
you're-
like them?
No,
of
when you're
those
middle of
things?
the tier quarterback, they're embarrassing to see his face.
He
Dude,
wasn't
every
middle of
other
the tier
commercial.
2
He
years
was-
ago. When he
They
signed
went
that
to the
deal, he was
AFC
11-5.
Championship. Yeah, they went to the AFC Championship 2 years ago, didn't they?
But even
See, this
his
is how
rookie
quick you
season-
fall from grace.
Yeah.
No, you quit. You fall from grace just 2 years later.
But
You know
here's
what
the
I'm saying?
thing. All of those things that you just described as Baker Mayfield, for the most part, is exactly the way people would describe Cam Newton, right? A sore
Yep.
loser, somebody who doesn't like who's gonna, he might cause some things off the field for you that you don't want to have to worry about, like with his personality and stuff. Like and now again, am I gonna say that he is Cam Newton? No, right? But we can't put that bar somewhere else for him that because Cam Newton was the same way with being a sore loser. So and I'm not saying that's what you're doing here, Cody. I know you said like that's not bad things. It's not. I don't think it's even a distraction. I think everybody on the team would respect it. I personally would rather have a person who has a personality in the backfield than Sam Darnold, who was told that he wasn't expected to be a leader. Like that makes no sense to me.
At least Baker gets excited. He'll get pissed off.
Right.
He'll want to slap some people around. Yeah. And by the way, the Browns also, or someone from Baker's camp has put out that they think that the Browns sabotaged him. That basically that they were calling plays to make it where the offense would be even harder on him, and that they'd be able to pin, and that they would be able to pin the blame on him, and basically say that they have to move on from him because of how they did him in Cleveland. So,
but that sounds whiny.
That's way
Baker Mayfield.
too. Yeah, that's
tinfoil hat right there.
That's like that in my opinion is like Sam Darnold's camp coming out and just publicly saying it was Adam Gase.
Right.
Sam Darnold has said he loved
Sam
Adam
Darnold
Gase
has some good things to say about Adam Gase.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
But I think that's what
I like. Man, I think we're being too hard. I want to see Sam Darnold again this year. I do. I know that people are going to roast me for that, but I really want to see if that behind a better offensive line, if he could take a step forward.
Right.
I do.
I'm
going to give him a fair shot. I almost feel bad. And I shouldn't feel bad, but you get to the point where you see a bludgeoning about like the unnecessary. We talked about it last week with the Jefferson Davis born at a young age moment in graduate school, where you just feel so bad about somebody taking a ribbon for every single thing. Mm-hmm. We don't know how much of the problem Sam Darnold was last year. We know he was part of it, and we know he's a large part of it, but we don't know how much it was. We have an entirely new coaching staff, and our offensive line was atrocious. It was just bad. I mean, they were just free rushing him, and every quarterback back there. It doesn't matter who it was.
Do you feel like the relationship is repairable for him? I mean, I know it wasn't like a public outburst that he had, like Baker Mayfield did when they were pursuing Deshaun, but like you got to keep in mind, like they were doing what they like.
I agree. I think that's a good point.
Is that something does he want to be here? Like, is he going to be back in the back, trying to persuade them? Yeah, go ahead and just do 1-for-1 trade for Baker. I'd rather be around.
Yeah, I think you're right. Is that I think that's why it would be a good deal for everybody. Is I don't think there's no love lost with Sam Darnold and the Panthers. They've been a dick to him just as much.
Right. Or do you think that what they've done this offseason makes this more appealing to him? Like now I know that we got a guy in here who can do things with an offense, in Ben McAdoo. We've got an offensive line. Like, does this look more appealing to him as an opportunity to show, listen, this is where I can make my best self look, more appealing? Because he has a more guaranteed ability to start here than he does going to the Browns. So maybe there's value there. And if he does come out, and when we say ball, right, 10 wins, in my opinion, is not going to be enough to make me want to keep Sam Darnold. It's a 17-game season.
But it'll be that in mind. But that'll probably get you in the playoffs, and that'll definitely be enough to keep Matt Rule at least. I guarantee you that. If
it'll be enough to keep Matt Rule, but you listen, when you get to the playoffs and you're 1 and out, 1 and done because you were a wild card and you barely slipped in because of because of just strength of schedule or whatever have you. then it's going to be. I think it's going to be really difficult to keep Sam Darnold there. But balling out, in my opinion, is having a year similar to Cam Newton's, fifth year in on his contract when he came out in 2015 and he became the MVP. Right. I'm not saying he has to be an MVP.
I don't know how you could say 10 games would not be balling out. That's
I don't
like
think it'd be
all
15
the
and one,
amount.
though.
Think about this.
that. That means you lost 7 games. That's just barely.
I don't know if
over
Sam
50%.
Darnold's won 10 games his entire career.
Right, but he's only played a 17-game season.
That's why I said. That's why I said earlier that he's competing to be a potential starter or a backup somewhere else. Listen, if you win 10 games and you make it to the playoffs, I'm sorry, there's a whole bunch of quarterbacks that don't have that on their resume. That is worth some value. Now, if Sam Darnold had already done that and then went on that podcast and said what he said, I've proven I'm a starter. I'm proving that someone will want me.
Now that was ridiculous.
Then it would make sense. But to this point, he has not proven anything. If he proves that he can lead a team to the playoffs, then I think that he's showing every NFL team, hey, I can take you to the playoffs. I can be an upgrade. He's basically auditioning to be a starter somewhere else, maybe get a 2-year deal. He might be a bridge quarterback for the rest of his life, another Fitzmagic.
But then why can't Baker Mayfield say that? He had an 11-win season and went to the playoffs, and nobody wants him.
I mean, yeah, he's marginal to me too, man. He's another Case Keenum.
All I'm saying is, though, nobody may want him.
I don't like it. I don't like Baker Mayfield's pocket mechanics. His footwork from inside the pocket. He's always drifting to one side or the other. Like a lot of the more routine layup passes, those are the ones that he misses. He has these weird inconsistencies. And again, I think that his body has been banged up a lot. He's not someone that can really take a lot of punishment.
Yeah, it doesn't look very big.
No, he's not. He's like 5'11", 6 foot or something like that.
Right.
Yep.
I wanted to ask you guys, have you talked about the Robbie Anderson stuff? Number change? He's changed his number from 11 to 3. That's one thing.
Yeah, we do need to talk about that.
And then he also put out this tweet that said something like, y'all think, did you see here? I'll pull it up in a second. But like, Robbie, man, this dude, he does not stop talking.
No.
He will not shut up. And not that he said anything bad, really. It's just like, man, it's like one of those things. Imagine being Robbie Anderson's roommate. And you're just like, damn, I'm just trying to watch the movie, Robbie. Just trying to watch this fucking movie, man.
What did he say this time?
He said, hold on, let me find the tweet.
Yep. I mean, do you all like the fact that he's that vocal, or do we feel like he hasn't?
I don't.
He hasn't.
He doesn't earn that. We're like, we want to talk about Baker not earning it. Like Robbie really hasn't earned it.
Right. Now he starts putting up numbers. I'm totally cool with Robbie. Like, I don't think that he I don't think that he the stuff he says is like out of bounds stuff. He's just not on the level to say it yet. You're not allowed to say that yet. Right. Once you make the plays, then you can talk like that.
This is the tweet right here. This one is just hard for me to and I like that. This is when I needed the Robbie Anderson translator dude, and he somehow was back. So this is cool. Robbie Anderson let him back in, but this was the tweet. People probably think I show off. I ain't even given it yet. Shared the field with Cam Newton.
What?
Yeah. I mean, here, y'all I'll read it one more time, exactly how it's written. People probably think I show off. I ain't even give it yet. All right, so I think here, this is a problem. This is why punctuation is helpful, folks. Mm-hmm. People probably think I show off, period. I ain't even give it yet. Shared the give. I ain't even give it yet. Shared the field with Cam Newton.
I don't.
This
is he talking about like that in a positive way? Like that's why we should want. Like why we. I'm confused.
Look at this. Is that my man? I think he had to start a new. I mean, can you guys see this on my screen? I share my screen. It's Robbie Anderson, translator for Twitter, and it's his Twitter handle is Robbie to English. And look, it is Robbie Anderson holding a book. And so this is the translation. The translation is: people probably think I show off. I haven't yet. Although people have forgotten I shared the same field as Cameron Newton.
But what does that mean?
Hey,
Oh,
that
man.
account is awesome. You have to
Yeah.
follow that account.
I can't believe Robbie blocked. Like, I feel like Robbie should have leaned into that account, and I think we would have loved him way more. But he
I
blocked
agree.
that account originally.
I think this is a new one too, because
it had to have been, yeah.
because it only
So was
has.
he saying that he's not flashy and not a show off compared to Cam Newton?
Yeah,
I'm
I mean,
wondering,
it's
is he
like the
knocking
hardest
Cam,
thing to
like-
understand.
That's
I mean,
kind of what
might-
it seems like. It kind of seems like he's taking a subtle little jab at Cam.
I think he's trying to show it off like, I'm so good, I played with Cam. I don't know,
Yeah,
man. I don't know
that's
how
how
to
it
take
fe-
that.
But what does
That's how
that
it
even
fe-
mean? Like, that means even less.
Right.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes more sense. It feels
Oh,
like,
because the
you
team
know?
traded for you and paired you up with them? Like, that makes no sense at all, man.
All
Maybe
right,
we should ice
everybody,
up Robbie Anderson.
everybody,
like
go
we could go.
follow. I'm gonna put it in the chat. Robbie to English at Robbie to English. This dude, that account with him holding the book. He put glasses on him. I mean, it's so hard to understand. Look, as like, and I don't like to make fun of people because, and for just, you know, because we can try to insult people's intelligence too much and some different things like
Right.
that unnecessarily to make ourselves feel better. But this is one of those where it's like, this is where I try to tell my students, like, hey, like, don't hate, like, these rules of writing, they help us. They're not meant to be bad. It's like paragraphs are good for organization.
Yeah,
People probably think I show off. I ain't even give it yet. Share the field with Cam Newton. Like, I don't even, like, what in the world are you saying, man?
I feel like he's like using like he's writing that with like a regular like he's using the touch keypad without looking at it while he's on a roller coaster.
Well, but I think the point that like Tony's making is like a lot of people, they just choose to text fucked up.
Right.
Like when they're on Twitter or when they're texting, like you feel like when you're not in class that like all the rules of English and literacy just
Don't apply.
go out the window because you're just texting and typing with your friends or whatever. But it's like, dude, sometimes some of the shit that these people say and text and tweet, it's like, what? Are we speaking the same language right now, dude? Like, this is ridiculous.
Right.
I have a good friend like that, by the way. I have a friend on Facebook, and I've known her for a long time, and I love her to death. She's one of the sweetest people in the world. But if I can ever understand one sentence that she types, dude, I should be a millionaire. Because I don't think that's ever possible for me to know what she's talking about.
Who is this? My audio cut out. Who's she?
No, I have a friend on my Facebook. And she's sweet as can be, great girl. But whenever she's like typing like messages online, dude, it's like reading a dyslexic 5th grade essay or something. It's like, dude, it's not good, man. So point taken. People should use their English.
Wow, I feel like Robbie. Look, I don't care. I really don't care about Robbie talking. Like, it doesn't bother me, nor does it endear me at this moment. You know, is that you can do this mess. It's a lot cooler to have personality when you're winning. And it's a lot less cool to have all of this bizarre personality when you're losing. So it'd be like, oh, look at that cute Robbie Anderson tweet when he's getting 1,000 yards. And now you're like, man, use a damn comma. I don't know. I mean, like, we just need Rob. I just feel like everybody on the Panthers probably should be quiet. But he also said this recently, and this I almost want. This was another tweet he put out. I bookmarked this one. Let's see, I'll share this with you guys so you can see it. I just he goes, I'd rather more dollars than followers. Well, bro, you got 43,000 followers and you got $21 million. You got your wish.
You got
You
it,
got your
bro.
wish.
Yeah.
Right? Like you got more money than followers. So
Yeah.
all right, that's all I got for that.
But I've got a few more things on the docket, and we'll get to some cat calls here soon. But listen, man, a lot of people watching the show right now, enjoying the stream, and they like to hear us talk about the Carolina Panthers, but they're not slick. They're really not, because they only come here for one reason. And frankly, I'm feeling kind of used, man, because I've been giving them good-ass Panthers opinions, but people just keep coming back to the C3 Panthers podcast to hear the voice that makes them moist. CK, talk to these sleazeballs.
Good evening. Welcome. You've come here and you've looked at your future and you've said the Carolina Panthers are the fan. I'm going to be a fan of the Carolina Panthers until the day I die, because if you're still here after the last 5 years, you're not going to go anywhere. And you've been here with the C3 Panthers or C3 Carolina Cat Chronicles the entire way. But you haven't hit that thumbs up yet? On this video, we're going live on a Tuesday where really nothing is happening. We're talking about Baker Mayfield, for Christ's sake. Hit the thumbs up. God damn it. Sorry, guys.
Subscriber. Shame, man. 143 strong viewers, 79 likes. Hit the thumbs up. Hit that like and subscribe. Make love to that notification bell so that way you get notified every single time the C3 Panthers podcast goes live and gives you that content you so crave. Next up on the docket tonight, this was a rumor that flew around Twitter. A lot of people seem to be very keen on this idea. I wanted to get the opinions of my fine panelists here and all of you in the chat. What say you about potentially signing Jadeveon Clowney to be a part of the Carolina Panthers pass rush rotation? This is a name, like I said, people have been talking about this a lot on Twitter. He never quite lived up to that number one overall pick, draft pick that was used on him, but nevertheless sets a very physical edge. That's something the Panthers have spoken at length about wanting to get better on and get better at. My question to you is, would you like to sign Jadeveon Clowney?
I definitely would. I mean, he didn't live up to that number one pick, but he's been a damn good player for a lot of his career. He's had some down years and some injury problems, but I mean,
I don't think it's worth the cost that it would have at this point in time.
What are we talking about signing him for? Like, what are the numbers? That is a good point, because if it's an extraordinary number, then I don't agree with it.
It'll be an extraordinary number.
Think so?
Yeah.
I mean, do you really think it'll be a crazy number? Like, I
do.
I mean,
I
well,
don't think so.
Bobby
I'll look
Wagner's
it
got
up.
signed for $10 million. Do you think it'd be more than that?
Yes.
Really?
Bobby Wagner's older. Yeah, I know he's got a pretty big good resume, but Jadeveon Clowney, I think
But Wagner is also kind of proved. I mean, Bobby Wagner kind of proved himself.
That's what I'm thinking. He's proven himself a lot more than Clowney has. Like,
right, but he's
he
also
only got
older.
10.
I think you get to a certain point where with 10 million is, I think, basically if he's signing for 10 million, it's because like if people had the faith that he was the same Bobby Wagner he's been for the past 10 years or whatever have you, it would have been significantly more than 10 million.
He signed a 1 year, $8 million deal last year, $9 million deal last year.
Who did?
Right.
Clowney
Clowney did
with the Browns.
Well,
With the
I
Browns.
know Von Miller just signed like $116 million deal. So
But
I mean,
Clowney had 9 sacks last year. I think Clowney would be a great fit for the team, like as in the type of player we need. Concerns are injury problems.
Go ahead.
Is that you bring him in and Look, is that bringing him, if he has injury problems next year and you bring him in on a short deal, 2 year deal, you're actually no worse than you were had you not brought him in, right? I mean, we would be stronger with him even if he did struggle with injuries, because we don't really have a strong anchor on the other side, a dependable guy. This is a guy, Jadeveon Clowney has been successful in this league. I mean, the problem has been injuries. And that is, I mean, that year in Seattle and Tennessee was not good those 2 years, but he's like a 9-sack guy. He's not great, but he's like helpful.
Spotrac.com has him at his calculated market value as $12.7 million.
I don't think
so. Yeah, CK was right. And again, that's if Spotrac is right. But so another thing to kind of keep in mind here too is that right now, currently, the Panthers, and I can't even believe I'm saying this, we have the most free agent money still left available at just under $30 million.
How is this possible? I mean, we didn't even have $30 million to start, I feel like. How did we get $30 million?
Like Christian McCaffrey and everything?
Well, hey, we were going to move heaven and earth to get Deshaun Watson on this football team. So the fact that we did that, we freed up all this money that we expected to be going to Deshaun, and now we have a bunch of cash to be able to allocate to a bunch of different positions. I personally
let's draft picks too. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean draft picks. I mean, CK, I know you said no, but knowing the amount of money that we have, being almost $30 million, does that change your mind at all? Or
not really? I'd rather roll that cap space over, or like have it available in the event that we need to do a mid-season trade if we actually start to see success and there's a major issue in maybe we lose somebody, maybe we need to trade for a middle linebacker if that's our biggest weakness this year. Then I think that is that's going to be more important to me. So holding on to that 30 million is, I think, super important at this point.
I don't know who said it in the chat, but they said spend that cap money on a tight end. I 100% agree. Go out and blow some money on one of these elite tight ends. Every great team in the league has one. No, we don't. We don't have an elite tight end. We don't even have a serviceable tight end. We haven't in years since Greg Olsen left. And that's a huge advantage to have an elite tight end.
We have someone who got paid that most fans didn't think deserved to get paid again. And we have a young guy who has a lot of potential, but up until this point hasn't proven to be anything more than a blocking tight end.
We've got Amari Barno, dude. We've got Amari Barno.
He's a defensive dude. So
6'6", 245 pounds, and runs a
Can
4.
He catch?
Yeah, I don't know.
Can he block?
How is this kid not a tight end, man? We need to.
Did you know that he's the fastest player to ever run a 4.3 something at above 245 pounds? The only other person to do that was Micah Parsons last year. So he's Amari Barno, man.
We need to put Barno on the offensive side of the ball. Make him a tight end. I mean,
Warren Sapp could do it. I don't see why he couldn't.
I want to see it. I want to see it. Like, I mean, you run that fast. Why we can't waste your talent as a defensive end?
I mean, unless he's getting around that edge and he's getting
but it's still not 40 yards though. You know what I'm saying? True. It's like a 8 yards. Need you running down the seam, bro.
So, Tony, are you? Is this something that you want? Would you be
I'm trying to think. Yeah, I'm down with it. Like, I'm okay with it. Here's my thing: is that when you look at the list of free agents out there, right, is like who would help our team the most? I just pulled up the list. This is on NFL.com. I hope it's as updated as possible. Odell Beckham's a free agent. Dwayne Brown, James Bradbury, which we can mention him. Clowney is the next on the list. Really, it's Clowney and Melvin Ingram, who are defensive edge players. 33, 29. Melvin Ingram's older. Jarvis Landry, Jerry Hughes, Akeem Hicks. Defensive line, Trey Flowers has not been healthy. over the last 2 seasons. I think a defensive end would be helpful for our team. I'm trying to see if there's Justin Houston. He's an edge rusher again, 33 years old.
Are you just looking at edge rushers or just all free agents?
I'm looking at all free agents. Is like,
how about that? What linebackers are available for us? Because let me tell you, I don't know what this linebacking core is going to look like, even after drafting Brandon Smith. I mean, truthfully, I don't really know who the Mike is going to be. We have an idea of how they intend to use Frankie Louvu, kind of similar to a Hassan Reddick kind of role, but that would be more like a 3-4 outside linebacker pass rushing type of deal. By the way, I've been saying this for a few weeks now. If AJ Klein is still available and out there on the market,
I'd take it.
Dude, we could damn sure do a lot worse than AJ Klein at linebacker, right? Like, am I wrong?
Man, that's like so. Do you know how old he is?
Dude, he can't be that much older than me.
Thomas Davis
is around my age. I mean, maybe that's kind of old, but it's like, dude, our linebacking core is kind of it. We really don't know who's going to be our inside linebacker. We have I keep on forgetting the dude who had issues with his
he's
issues
30.
with the law. The guy that
Killer Cat, Damian Lewis.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the guy that just had some shit come up with us, the linebacker for the Panthers.
Yeah, Damian Lewis. He fake killed the cat. He's the fake cat killer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, but that linebacker, I've said this entire offseason, I think our linebacking core is in some of the worst shape that it ever has been. I mean, outside of Shaq Thompson, there is Damian Wilson. I knew I didn't recognize the name. Yes, Damian Wilson is his name.
Yeah, fake cat killer.
AJ Klein is 30, just so y'all know. He's only a year younger than Luke Kuechly.
There are no linebackers, bro, on free agency. You ain't getting none. There are none.
Yeah, man.
Like it's such a weird thing to be a Panthers fan and just have this be the existence of not having a middle linebacker. It's such an odd thing because we've been so accustomed to having one of the league's best, linebacking cores.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Damian
sad,
Wilson, not Damian Lewis. Okay.
That's what I was telling you. That's what I said. That's why I brought it up again.
Sorry.
But yeah, and also CJ Littleton is another guy that we have to consider. I just don't know how much I trust any of those names. Right. At this point,
you don't got a choice right now. I don't think there's anybody else out there in free agency. This is the list when I pull up on Spot Rack. And now this is just linebacker. This would they be? Would you want them to be an inside linebacker, or would you want?
Yeah, I think right now.
Then that list is longer.
I mean, but between Marquise Haynes, Amari Barno, now you have Frankie Louvu that they want to use in a very similar
Kyle
fashion,
Van Noy.
Yeah, he's another edge rusher, outside linebacker type. And I thought he went back to the Patriots. Am I wrong on that?
I can't tell if they've signed or not.
Okay.
It's hard to find a list. But anyway, yeah, I mean, that is a question. Is that defensive end and linebacker on defense are the two kind of question marks about depth and strength. I think you're right. Linebacker might even be the more a larger question.
Issue.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Van Noy signed with the Chargers today.
And by the way, I actually like Jadeveon Clowney. I think that would be a really good signing for us, considering the fact that he, the Panthers have talked about needing a defensive end that can set a very physical edge. That would be something that I think would be good for us. And you're not paying him to be that premier pass rusher that he was once upon a time thought
supposed to be.
Yeah. So, okay, this is my last pre-prepared topic for the night, and then we can just ride the cat calls into into the rest of the night if you want to. But listen, man. So people have been roasting my ass on Twitter because I continue to dare entertain the thought, as blasphemous as it might be, that Brady Christensen should be the left tackle, and that Ikem Ekwonu should be the left guard. Well, I put this out on Twitter in a response to one of the 4-man rush guys. They're really high on Michael Jordan, which again, dude, I can't see it. I thought he was terrible for us last year, but they were saying that if you're going to play Ikem Ekwonu at left tackle, then Michael Jordan or Deontay Brown would be better suited at guard than Brady Christensen. And I'm like, okay, well, listen, if it's just a foregone conclusion that Ikem Ekwonu is our left tackle, which, by the way, I have absolutely no problem with, and I've never called into question his ability to play left tackle. But if Ikem Ekwonu is to be our left tackle, well, then who's going to be the odd man out in this equation? Because I'm sorry, but our offensive line is only big enough for 5 dudes, okay? And if Ikem Ekwonu is going to be our left tackle, then who's going to be the left guard? Are we looking at Brady Christensen, or do we think that Deontay Brown finally steps up and is more than just a name that we say for shits and giggles on this podcast every week? Who is going to be the odd man out in this scenario? Because if one of them is going to end up being the starter, inevitably the other one is getting put on the bench.
We have no reason to believe it's Deontay Brown. That's it.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, I mean, you guys could say that he was great in college and this and that, but you could be rooting for him to be right because you wanted it, Cody, right? I mean, so if there's anybody that would support this, it would be you.
Yeah.
But we have we have zero reason to believe that would be a better solution.
Mm-hmm.
We have Matt Rule on record saying that Brady Christensen was graded higher as a guard than at a tackle in his mind. So I think it's too early to tell. I think that you could say, all right, Icky's going to be the left tackle, fine, but I don't think that gives us a referendum or tells us anything about who is really playing left guard. I don't know if we've seen Christensen. They've said a lot of good things about Brady Christensen this offseason.
Right.
A lot. And Scott Fitterer has been leading that charge. So I don't think that he's going to be in the doghouse. The James Campen said he wanted to see more of him at left tackle. I do think that, look, they did not draft Icky to be a guard. Jordan Gross did play a year of guard, I believe, before he shifted over left tackle. Would not be absurd to do what you're saying, but it is absurd to act like Brady Christensen is a viable member of this team going forward. Why would you put more stock in an undrafted free agent and Michael Jordan and in Deontay Brown, a 6th-round pick, than you would in a guy that just last year they had start like every game, it felt like, at a different damn position?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've been on this for a while too, that I don't necessarily believe that Brady Christensen is a guard. I don't think that's where his skill set is best suited. Now, CK made a good point. It was last Tuesday or Friday, I forget when it was. CK brought this up, and he made the point that, well, if you put better guys on his right and left, well, then maybe the level of play from Brady Christensen this year could be better than we saw it last year. And I'm willing to believe that could be true. That's not outside of the realm of possibility to me. I'm just looking at skill set, athletic profile. People forget that the RAS scores that these guys love to do around draft time, Brady Christensen had one of the best RAS scores at left tackle of any prospect ever. So his athletic ability to play the left tackle position isn't in question. He just isn't the kind of prospect that Ikem Ekwonu is. Icky is the type of road grader that you can put him at left tackle or left guard, and I think he can be an all-pro kind of player. I just think to maximize the kind of talent that we have, it would be good to put Christensen at left tackle and then Kevin Kwanu at guard, especially for that inside zone run that the Panthers like to do. And we've brought in Deontay Foreman for that kind of run as well. I just think Kwanu would be good there. But Tony, you're right. For as much as I want and fans want, I'm not the only one, Deontay Brown to be a part of this roster, like he's the odd man out. Right now, Brady Christensen has more experience on the offensive line, and I think the coaches have every intention of proving their initial evaluation correct. That Brady Christensen is a guard and not a tackle. So I kind of think Deontay Brown might end up kind of being the next Cameron Artis-Payne, man. I hope it's not true, but I think it could be.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to need depth and rotation on this offensive line. And Aquanu, I mean, look, I hope he's going to come in and play left tackle and shut it down from day one. I hope Rashawn Slater doesn't make us feel disappointed. Look, some of the top ranked left tackles in the history of football that people said were going to be fantastic and awesome. Even when they turned out to be fantastic and awesome, had trouble their rookie year. So there's been some really high profile, great players that are like, this is a franchise tackle, and they struggle in their rookie year. Now, I don't know. I'd have to go through the list of them and all of this to see where their struggles because of them only, were they on bad offensive lines, but it's a position that is tough. It's the toughest. There's a reason they pay it a lot, pay it high as a high paying position. It's a tough position in NFL to play. So, I hope we don't get in at least. Look, maybe Rashawn Slater just reset the bar for what we think, kind of like what Justin Herbert did for quarterbacks. It's just like, geez, you just expect every draft pick to be an all-pro from the minute they walk on the field. So I hope he does well. But look, I know he's going to do well. It's just we don't really have any idea how this offensive line is going to pan out in the beginning. And if anything, if he is best suited to play left tackle, you can sure as shit believe Matt Rule is going to play him at left guard. Sorry, that's my dig for tonight. I wanted to go over this, Cody, before we get in the cat calls. I got the winners from the draft giveaway.
Oh yeah, let's do it, man. Announce some winners.
We got some. There were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 people, I think. I got 13 entries into the draft. To the draft contest. What the idea was is you'd submit the top 10 names or your order of the top 10 picks. Next year, we're going to expand this to 15, I think, and we're really going to pump it up for months before. Really try to get some more action on this because you guys were really good at this. Is almost everybody's top 10. There were very few zeros. And what I mean by that zeros is that players that they listed in the top 10 that weren't in the top 10. The only time that people went, a couple of them went quarterback heavy in the top 10, whichever we all thought was a possibility. But there was a lot of people that hit picks, maybe not in the right spot, but got almost the entire top 10 just out of order, right? So the top 3 scorers were Keyload. These were all on the subreddit on our server, the C3 Panthers podcast Discord. On Discord, and the draft giveaway night is where that you can find these entries. Keyload scored 17 points. He got the first and second pick correct, like as right on the money. He got the Panthers pick right, which was a 4-point pick. And then he nailed all the other picks in it, but just not in the right spots. So he scored 17 points. Sportsnut, really, with 18 points, he got the first 3 right and the number 8 pick, which I think was Landon. I got the name somewhere here. I wrote it down. see who was the number 8 pick was London. So we got that right. But the winner was, and I'm a little upset, Mile High Panther. When I say that is Mile High Panther said he was going to quit being a fan because of the Deshaun Watson stuff. I'm pretty sure that's him. He killed it with 19. He got the Panthers pick right. That helped him. That's actually what set him over the top. He got the first pick right, the third pick right, the fifth pick right, the sixth right, and the ninth pick. He did that. He got 19 points and had 2 zeros on his list.
Damn.
So Mile High Panther wins it. Notable Rowdy got 14. JC Happy got 16. Jacob Self got 15. So look, is Mile High Panther. I got a autographed Stephen Davis photograph for you. So what I need you to do is send me your mailing address, and I'll get that out to you as the winner of that. And I will give second place both to Keyload and Sportsnut. You get a Cam Wow on me. Not on me, on us, whatever. You get a Cam Wow as our greatest draft pick of all time, Cam Newton, in my opinion. But we'll send that out. So send me your addresses, and I'll mail you those out this week. The C3 Panther, the draft night giveaway, man. It was fun, man. Carson once said he had 6 out of the top 10 right. In the right spots. What was your name, Carson, and where did you put it? I got to go make, man, if I missed anybody, I'll be happy to go look for it. I just went through the Discord server, and I also searched the C3 Draft Party hashtag on Twitter. Those are the 2 ways I looked that you could submit. So if you didn't put the hashtag, I didn't find it on Twitter. And if it's not in the Discord, in the right spot on Discord, oh, he didn't join. Okay, never mind. Sorry, Carson. Next year. All right. Yeah, so that was fun. But this year, I did not think about the draft enough ahead of time. I got to remember these games we do. That's the other thing. I was so worried about some different things is like, we got to start pumping up this contest a little bit earlier.
Right.
I feel like this draft was just weird for me because it was only the Panthers' first round pick that mattered to me. I could barely even tell you the names of the later picks in some ways because it's just like there was so much. It was just such a big gap between our first and our next pick. It was like, why even care? Why even care until we get there?
Be
project
in it.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so you guys send me that on Twitter or in the Discord is fine. A fine way for you to get in touch with me. Let's go ahead and we'll jump into the cat calls. The number is 252-228-5098. That's 252-228-5098. We'd like to get your opinion on the latest Panthers news and topics.
So what are your thoughts on catcalling?
Yeah, it's pretty. You shouldn't do that to somebody.
And how did that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
So how do you think catcalling makes the person feel?
It feels good, like.
Who's that cat sitting in the back corner with his face buried in his nose? Who's that kid that can use one?
Yo, C3, Panther Nation. This is JD54. How y'all feeling?
What up, my man?
What's up?
Yo, y'all might not even get to this call. The show been running for a little minute. I just got out of class, so thought I'd call in. On the draft, I'm fucking with it. I think Fitter did his thing. Got a lot of good guys brought to the team. Yo, that left tackle, I need to learn how to say his name. I got a real good feeling that man gonna be a straight beast. Like, just looking at some of his highlights, he has that dog in him. I know a lot of other people have said it, but he definitely got that dog in him. And that's a grown man manhandling other grown men. That's demoralizing. But I'm happy with the pick. Matt Brown, if he can develop into a starting caliber QB, I genuinely think he's gonna get playing time this season because Sam has never played a full season. So it's a good time to be a Panther fan. Hopefully, Will can pull it all together. Third time's showing. We go on from there. That's that. He
Hope
comes.
springs eternal at this time of the year. Let's keep going through with the calls.
Hey guys, this is Tyler. First time caller, been listening to you guys for a while. I appreciate all the work you guys do. It's a lot of fun to watch.
Thank
Keep
you.
up the good work.
Thank you.
Just to answer your question as far as should the Panthers sign Baker Mayfield, I feel like it depends on, are we giving up anything draft capital wise? Hopefully not. And then also, what are we paying him? So if we're not giving up any draft capital, or if say it's a 7th round pick, and then Cleveland is giving up or paying majority of his salary, and we pay 5, 6, 7 million, then I would be okay about that because it provides competition with Sam Darnold. If Sam Darnold sucks behind an improved offensive line, great talent, then you have Baker Mayfield that's a proven winner, even though he couldn't get it done with a great offensive line himself with Cleveland, great defense, great running backs, great receiver. He's not the answer, but he's better than Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold, in my opinion, is 32 out of 32 quarterbacks ranked. Like, it probably worse than that. But Baker Mayfield, I would say around 20, mid-20s, maybe 20 is the lowest I would go. But to answer your question, it just depends on what are we giving up. If it's very minimal, I'm open for it. He's not a long-term answer. Again, it would actually help us as far as if, again, Sam Darnold just stuck up the joint, like I think he will. Then you put Baker Mayfield in. That saves Matt Corral from going in too early. So that's what I think. Thank you guys again. Love listening to you guys.
Man, great. Thanks for the call. I think you're kind of raising the exact points. That is Baker Mayfield is better than Sam Darnold, just for the very fact that he is a proven starter, unlike Sam Darnold, who thinks he's a proven starter, who hasn't proved anything. And it comes down to the money. When you go back to the discussion, is like here is, I guess it really comes down to, are you acquiring Baker Mayfield and adding him to the room? Are you jettisoning, are you trading Sam Darnold for him in that process? And how many quarterbacks do the Panthers run with this year? I mean, think about that. Is this going to be another 3 quarterback roster? Are you talking about I mean, even if it was Baker Mayfield, if you bring in Baker, is it Baker, Corral, and PJ Walker still?
And none of them are the
like
surefire answer, man.
Right.
None
Feels
of those
like it,
guys.
man.
Yeah, it feels like it could absolutely be that way. I mean, I think PJ Walker would probably end up getting the axe if we did bring in another quarterback like a Baker Mayfield or a Cam Newton, whoever it ends up being, Nick Foles, whatever. I think that PJ is probably the odd man out, which will break Matt Rule's poor Baylor loving heart. I mean, but yeah, I really don't. I hate that we're going to use that many roster spots on that many quarterbacks. But remember, listen, how long did the Panthers run with Cam Newton, Derek Anderson, and Joe Webb? Having that 3 quarterback
but
room.
Joe Webb, Joe Webb was like a special teams player.
Joe Webb
PJ
was
Walker
the
be
king
that
of
as well?
Joe Webb was the king of the preseason. Remember that? Every
Yes, he was
preseason, Joe Webb would just
incredible,
light
man.
it up, dude.
Dude, I miss those times, bro. Like, I
I
miss
know,
watching
right?
Joe Webb there. Like, having that guy, it's so weird, man. It's weird that it's that different of a team now.
It's like ghost of days gone by,
I know,
Yeah.
bro.
Was it I know my friend Clip tells me about this all the time, but somebody was wearing a shirt, and it was like it was a shirt that my buddy Clip from the radio station talked about, how his friend had a shirt or put a picture up, and it was like from the NFC champ. It was like all the studs, it was Cam, it was Luke, it was TD, it was Greg. It was like, he was saying this 2 or 3 years ago. And like, he's like, well, none of them are up there anymore. Just 2 years ago. Y'all see Luke working for ESPN now?
Yeah, I would play some clips of it, man. But he's been doing pretty damn good.
He looks
that's
beautiful as usual. Looking, man, he is well put together, man. He looks like he's auditioning for the next Superman movie. He is chiseled.
Yeah.
Like, how's that guy? He looks like he could be playing. Yeah, he looks like, what's his name?
Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill,
Yeah. All right, let's go to the next call.
Hey man, second part of Corey's call. Just also wanted to say I find it really hilarious that bro wanted to get mad
first part?
about teams that are supposedly worse than us.
Oh, I think I skipped this call.
Hey, it was good, fellas. It's Corey calling in. Just wanted to call in and give a big shout out to all the pessimistic ass Panther fans out there that just want to hate this team just to hate it, man. Shout out to G Baby and all the likes of them who just want to get mad at the team and feel like they're smarter than everybody else because the Panthers are dumb motherfuckers and never make the right move. Apparently, like this guy doesn't want Matt Corral because he suffered from alcoholism and depression a couple years ago. Like, okay, like this motherfucker would have been the same guy to get mad at us for drafting Cam Newton because he stole a laptop in college. Like who cares?
Yeah.
Bro? Like you didn't want Baker, you didn't want Matt Corral. We had no third round pick. I don't know what the fuck you expected this team to do. It's like we had no third round pick, so we traded the next year's third round picks to go get a quarterback. So I know you don't want Sam. I know you don't want Baker. You don't want Matt Corral. Did you want us to trade a second round pick to get Malik Willis? Like, what did you want us to do? Like, I don't know, man. But I just want to remind everybody out there, man. Like, we're Panther fans, yo. Like, we're allowed to be happy. We're allowed to, celebrate this team when we feel like we did something good. And being happy about the team and being optimistic about the offseason doesn't mean you're drinking the Kool-Aid. It doesn't mean that you're an idiot. It means that you like this team and you want this team to be good. Just,
right.
You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody out there who actually thinks about what the fuck they say before they call it, man.
Here's part 2.
Hey, man, second part of Corey's call. Just also wanted to say I find it really hilarious that bro wanted to get mad about teams that are supposedly worse than us or better than us having multiple first-round picks when we only have one. It's like, bro, you knew that coming into the draft. I don't understand why. Like, these teams tanked. Like, they tanked. They traded, like, the Texans tanked. They traded Deshaun Watson. You know what I'm saying? The Jets tanked. They got multiple first-round picks. Like, the Panthers didn't initiate a real tank. We thought they were going to, and then they ended up getting 2 mediocre quarterbacks in back-to-back years. Like, we knew all this already coming into the draft. I'm not sure why this is something to get heated up on after the draft anyway. But, yeah, man, I just wanted to make that last point. Appreciate y'all. Thanks.
True.
G-Baby got a lot of hate after last week.
He's throwing a lot out there.
I mean, to be fair, G-Baby threw a lot of hate out himself, right?
Yeah.
And I think you put that on yourself when you come at it like that, out of the gate with that much emotion. You're asking for the opposite end of that spectrum to be there. Where somebody with that equal amount of emotion, if not happiness, is going to come after you. Because I mean, here's the thing: is you're bringing down. I mean, that's the thing. And this isn't. And I don't want to be this thing where it's like piling on G-Baby, because I do get where he's coming from to some degree. Like, we've been constantly disappointed with what we like when we go into a draft. I mean, he wanted certain expectations and he didn't see what he wanted, right? And that's
I feel like every draft could be like that, period, for
Right.
anything. You know what
Agreed.
I'm saying? Like, is like you can so that's I mean, right, look, is one thing is G-Baby bring that passion, not emotion. You ain't never don't ever tell him about just like bringing a half the juice. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I want to bring this up real quick before we move on to the next call. Is what is his Bozeman's first name? Is it Bradley?
Bradley.
Bozeman?
Yeah, Bradley.
Bradley Bozeman quickly becoming a fan favorite in Carolina, even though he signed a 1-year deal. Throughout the opening pitch for the Charlotte Knights, Nikki Bozeman, I think is his wife's name. They really have taken
They love Charlotte.
Yeah, I mean, it's really been neat seeing how happy they are. Like, they just seem like happy people. So she put out today on Twitter that he was going to be throwing the first pitch at the Charlotte Knights game, and she asked in a poll if it would be a strike, a ball, or in the dirt. And I put a ball.
Yeah.
Here is Bradley Bozeman right here. We'll see what this is. This is the pitch. And it's in the dirt. Boy, that thing. Look at
How long do you
this.
think you practice for something like that?
Oh,
It's man, the nerves.
I think the trick is if you got the opening, if you ever get called for an opening pitch, is don't try to throw it fast. Just try to get it there. That's all you want to do. Just
that's
try
right.
to get
Kind
it
of
there.
lob it. Right?
Nobody's going to
Don't-
care.
yeah,
everybody's going
don't-
to
don't
forget if you
try
throw
to-
it 90 miles an hour. But
Don't try to look like an MLB.
Look at this.
You know,
Look at this
professional.
pitch, man. Poor Bradley
just
Bozeman.
get it there.
This was not a good one. Not your best look right here. What is the? He threw it straight. It's just like a knuckleball. It's a sinker. He threw a sinker. He's a funny. He looks like he's just a happy dude to be around.
He looks like,
I mean,
Matt
look,
Rule
he
walking off
seems
that.
to.
He looks
And
like
by
Matt
the
Rule
way,
walking off that mound.
We continue to do this thing where it's like, well, we only have him for 1 year. It might just be a 1 year deal. Like, if the Panthers figure out a good offensive line formation this year and it involves Bradley Bozeman, I guarantee you Scott Fair will find some way, him and Samir Suleiman, they'll rub two coins together and figure out enough way to find an extension for Bradley Bozeman. And by the way, all indicators seems to be a very fun, down-to-earth guy. He kind of has some Ryan Khalil vibes to him.
Yeah.
And that he's like a playful, jovial guy. He likes to have fun. He seems like a team guy. And that's what you want out of your center, no less. So, yeah, I could easily see Bozeman coming back. Let's just hope he doesn't have to throw any more baseballs.
All right, next call.
Okay, so I just want to let you guys know something. I'm honestly sick of all this quarterback talk with Baker Mayfield. It's just really ridiculous that we got our franchise guy.
Yep.
That we got a guy who I think has a legitimate chance of being our franchise guy in the third round. A guy that was supposed to go in the first round, and people are still talking about us getting a franchise quarterback and us needing a franchise quarterback. And the top name is Baker freaking Mayfield. I don't want to hear anything else about a quarterback this offseason. We have our guy in Corral. Baker, get the hell out of my life, kindly. Please go retire and go see what's that foul you.
Connor ain't having
Get the hell
none
out of
of
my
it.
life kindly. I
love it, man. I love it. I want no part of Baker Mayfield. Connor is a vibe. Dude, I want some of whatever Connor's on, dude.
Yeah.
All right, next call.
I like it.
Hey guys, the growl that makes him howl, aka Joey the Blind Panther.
Oh.
Don't nobody want Baker Mayfield's bitch ass in here. I don't want
Darnold either, but we
already are paying Sam Darnold $18 million, which is what Baker Mayfield's getting paid this year. Why would we do that? Unless Sam Darnold comes out and says, I don't want to be here, I'm not playing for you, which he hasn't done yet. Oh, and guess who's done that to his current team? Baker Mayfield. So, Baker Mayfield is not like what we had last year with the uncertainty. If that happens again this year or anything remotely close to it, Baker Mayfield is going to be a problem, and then we're probably gonna have to start Matt Corral anyway because Baker Mayfield will probably pull some Antonio Brown shit. I mean, he's got very good coaching. He's got that team. Why they were not in the Super Bowl last year is why Baker Mayfield is not going to be a Cleveland Brown next year. That's why they went after Deshaun Watson, because with that team, with that coaching staff, they should have been in the Super Bowl.
I don't know.
So,
good teams in the AFC.
No, I don't want Baker Mayfield. We have nowhere near. I'm not necessarily saying that our coaching staff is a bunch of bums now. I mean, we do have a lot more experience. Not 2021 coaching staff, but it's nowhere near. It's not proven like Kevin Stefanski, like the Browns coaching staff is, and Baker Mayfield isn't getting along with them. So, hard pass.
I think
Baker
people
Mayfield.
give the Browns too much love, dude.
I'd rather bring back Cam if we're going to bring back somebody other than Sam Darnold. Anyway, guys, my namesake is pending. Wow.
It's patented. Patented roar.
I think that him saying that they should have been in the Super Bowl, I think the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Chargers will all say, hold my beer.
I feel like
they
the
weren't
Browns
that
are
good.
just one of those. I mean, after 11-5 the year before, there's some names on the roster. I just don't know. I feel like I'd have to go really look at their offensive line. I think Nick Chubb, the running game, took a step back last year. I think there were some injuries there.
I don't know. The wide receiving core with OBJ being gone, through that, early in the season with injury, and then being released on top of that.
Yeah, it just feels like they're too darling to me. You know what I mean? It's like everybody wants this. It's like one of those things that looks good on paper. I thought the Panthers team was good on paper a couple of times too, and they weren't.
Right.
I don't know. I mean they're good, but like even Stefanski one good year. He's not that proven. All right, next call.
I mean, they were one of okay.
Hey guys.
No, I was just gonna say they were one of the best teams in the AFC for a long time, and they clearly felt they were a quarterback away, or else they wouldn't have given up 3 first-round picks
for a long time.
For 2-3 years, I wouldn't say.
No, for 1 year.
Yeah.
No, right, I mean, ever since that year when they brought in Odell Beckham, their roster has been good. They have had one of the better rosters in the AFC, and that's the narrative: is that Baker Mayfield doesn't get them there. And that's why so many Panther fans are against Baker Mayfield, because he did have more than 1 year.
They have had one winning season. They went 8-9 last year. They went 11-5 the year before. They went 6-10 the year before that. 7-8-1 the year before that. 0-16. They haven't finished in the highest they've finished in their division is 3rd.
And a lot of that blame is on Baker.
No.
But look at that division too.
Only just last year.
That second year when they went 6-10, that was supposed to be his breakout year with Odell, and they had all the weapons and Nick Chubb and Jarvis Landry and all the guys, and they still couldn't get it done.
All right. Next call.
I really feel that he's not much better than Darnold. Even if he's a little better, the money we'd have to pay, it's just not worth it. And there's other quarterbacks that will be available, and it is a position of need. However, I think this team really needs to concentrate on 2 positions. Number one is that linebacker, that middle linebacker that we are so accustomed to having as Panther fans. From Beeson and Kuechly and Morgan and, Thomas Davis, who they were in the middle backer. But just having a backer or middle linebacker who will lead defense. And the other thing I think is we need, because of losing Hassan Reddick, which is the only thing I think Federer did this offseason. I wish he would have franchise tagged Hassan Reddick. But that's just my opinion. But go out and get one of these veterans that have some motor still left. Pay a little bit of change for them. It's going to cost. But we definitely need someone who's a pass rushing specialist. Add the depth there, because I don't know if Gross-Matos is going to be up to the charge. And get that linebacker.
Yeah,
and I think we'll be fine. Quarterback play, that could be an issue. But 2 valuable positions just to throw money at the wall. Just get a competent backup, get rid of P.J. Walker, and see what happens if these other 2 moves are met. The middle linebacker and some help with the outside pass rush.
Great points, Chuck. I think those are the additions. I think that free agency would be more helpful than any other place at this point. You look at the offensive side of the ball, I think you're talking about being able to manage a lot. What you did in free agency already, and the draft addressed it, is that this would be we've got a young core of defensive players too. So adding some experienced veterans that on a shorter term, though, that are going to give you some solid output in the short term would be a good fit for this team. I do think that. Good call, Chuck. All right, next call.
Hey, this is Kevin from Charleston, South Carolina, a.k.a. Drunk Panther. I want to talk about what Cody was saying earlier about, should we move King McQuanu to guard and Christian to left tackle? I will agree with you, Cody. Because at the end of the day, I'd rather have a top 5 guard with an average left tackle than to have a below average guard, and a great left tackle.
Yeah,
That's me.
kind
I'd
of
rather have above average and top 5 guard than below average. That's me. That's what I believe. This is me. Sign off. I'm drinking Snoop Dogg's wine right now because I don't have to work in the morning. So,
19
keep
crimes.
It pimping.
It's a good wine.
Keep it cripping. Keep pounding.
Hey.
Right. I like that. It's good. Favorite wine right now is King Chancho. And I don't know what happened, but it used to be like a $15 wine, but now it's $6, and it's awesome. It's like my favorite wine before, and now it's $6. King Chancho, check it out. The red blend, dope. Next call.
What's up, C3? It's the man, the myth,
What's up, Noah?
and a legend. It's Noah here.
What up, Noah?
And I just gotta say one thing. I don't think we should go get Baker. I mean, I don't like Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield is like the same thing. I mean, we're just gonna be like not really upgrading nothing. I feel like we got really lucky in the draft. We got Equator. We got the quarterback from Ole Miss. I feel like we should go with this thing. I don't think we should go get Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield is basically Sam Darnold, like 2.0. That's it. We should go get Jimmy G. I'd rather get Jimmy G than we can get Sam Darnold. Not Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield. I'm half asleep anyway. But yeah, keep pounding. The man in the myth and the legend will be back. Free for all Friday. Oh.
Hey,
My
the
man,
myth, the legend.
I disagree with him on I'd rather have Jimmy Garoppolo.
I agree with that. Or with you, Tony. I'm of the mindset that's too expensive. You would have to give away assets, and his salary is going to be way more than the worth of bringing Jimmy G on for essentially the same style of player that is going to be a game manager.
Exactly.
If we're going to be putting assets into getting somebody, he's got to be the guy. Otherwise, it's Matt Corral, and again, I think the argument here, I have no problem with the mindset of keeping Sam Darnold just because of, if it doesn't work, at least we didn't do anything else, right?
Right.
Why roll the dice and go with something else when why not just stay, like, instead of having, you're maybe in a bad spot, you have 15 and you're playing blackjack. Do you want to hit again and risk going and busting, or do you want to just say, hey, listen, let's roll with what we got and hope that we make it work? Are we most likely going to lose? Probably with a 15 hand, but at this point in time, at least you didn't do something to lose.
Well, guess what? Those are the cat calls. So we have
what?
Yeah,
a whole hour and 30 minutes early.
Yeah,
Dude, what
look, the schedule comes out on Thursday. I guess one thing I saw a schedule leak is for us, and it's a leak. I can't verify it, and the account is not necessarily one that I have I don't know them, and they're new accounts, but they're like Twitter or draft leaks. They ain't got a lot of followers. NFL schedule leaks. Only 4,500 followers, newer account, but they're saying NFL Week 14 Panthers at Seahawks. So the schedule comes out on Thursday. We'll probably put something out. That'll be some good fodder for free for all Friday.
Yeah, I'm also seeing NFL schedule release saying Week 1 49ers at Panthers, Week 2 49ers at Falcons.
Yeah. Okay. So,
man, dude, that'd be 2 home games to start the season. That would be.
No, we don't know what that doesn't tell us what our second week is.
But normally it says 49. Like when it says the first team at, then it's the home team. right?
Yeah, but that's for opening week. But what week 2 is about them and the Falcons, about the 49ers and the Falcons, the way you read it, right? That doesn't have anything to do with us.
That's it for
So,
but then I saw another one that said week 2 the Panthers would play the Falcons. I don't know. It all seems like rumors at this point, I guess.
No, it is.
I saw this. Kayvon Thibodeau gives $50,000 for Graham Gano's number 5.
Oh yeah, actually, there's a cool little story behind that. So, in order to get the number, he not only donated the money, but he gave it to charity. In order to get number 5 from Graham Gano, Kayvon Thibodeau donated $50,000 to Puppies Behind Bars, which provides service dogs for wounded war veterans and first responders, in addition to explosive detonation canines for law enforcement.
Okay,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Graham Gano still missing, man.
Hey, listen. That brings up another question.
Is this about your about this 7-day cruise?
Yeah, bro. Graham Gano is gonna be on there. Luke's gonna be there. I mean, if nothing else, Captain Munnerlyn, like, I feel like he would be a fucking blast to be drinking with.
Bro, you know I could get Captain Munnerlyn to talk some shit with me, man.
Right.
That would be fun.
It's a long 7-day cruise. Is long.
I'm not a huge cruise fan.
I've never been on one.
Yeah, me neither.
But like the idea of being able to do that and be with Panthers fans right after the season, just kind of like unwinding a little bit. It's something.
It is kind of it's intriguing. So next year, for people that don't know what we're talking about, is the Roaring Riot is getting back to business, right? And what I mean by that is the pandemic has been probably put a giant kink in a lot of their plans. But they do they're doing a cruise, a Panther cruise. They did this. This started with Cam Newton one year, where they went out on a boat for the day with Cam Newton or something like that. And so you can sign up through the Roaring Riot and go on this 7-day cruise to Cozumel, all of this. And there's going to be 4 or 5 Panthers. Luke Kuechly's one of them.
Mario Addison,
Mario Addison. Yeah, that was a
Ted Ginn. If you didn't say that.
Some of these names surprised me. It's like because I don't know if they love the Panthers. Like I don't know if Ted Ginn loves the Panthers.
Getting a free cruise.
Come to this free cruise, yeah.
I think they'll be like, yeah, I'll do it.
Okay.
I think Ted Ginn probably loves the Panthers just because he's had his most
success with us.
Yeah, his most success and our most success is with him as a wide receiver. Whether not saying that he was the most successful wide receiver, but we're going to be able to remember that season and remember Ted Ginn.
Ted Ginn was the difference maker in that 2000. I mean, from a passing perspective, Ted Ginn was the difference maker.
And he caught that damn ball in the Super Bowl.
That was a country.
I was a Ted Ginn hater. I was a Ted Ginn hater. All right. So we just got to ice some fools up. And get out of here. And this will be the first time ever. I think we finished before 11, in the last 5 years.
Crazy.
We want you to be a part of the show. You can throughout the week. You can find us on Twitter at @cat_chronicles. Everybody else's tags are up there, and we'll get them on the way out. Also, we got the Discord channel going, and this community we've been building on YouTube. Friday free for all that is cool. So just because the show is ending tonight a little bit earlier than usual does not mean the discussion for the week is over. We'd love for you to participate and be a part of our community that we have been building for the last decade. And I really think it shows how much support. We really get a cool group of people talking about the Panthers each and every week. So I thank everybody for their time. Let's go ahead and ice some fools up. This is the segment where we tell someone to ice up, toughen up, to get it together. And I'm going to go with a 2-part ice up myself.
I have a 2-parter too.
Mine's real, and it's not easy. Look, I've been going through a old movie kind of thing lately. Yeah, it's like, I mean, I'm just watching stuff on Netflix. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just Amazon Prime. So I watched like Armageddon this past week. I watched some different things, just like is just to pass the time where I'm like grading papers or something like that, or doing laundry. I'm icing up right now is Any Given Sunday. I'm about halfway through this, and it's really not that good.
Oh, dude, I could fight you right now.
I was gonna say I thought I enjoyed that one.
Oh,
I'm gonna go back and watch. It's not that. It's like weird. It's like it's kind of it's meh. So I'm gonna say that I'm icing up Any Given Sunday. It's like the only cool thing about it is Jamie Foxx he's on this this TV. He's doing an interview and he's like talking about the number of black people in the league, and there isn't any, doesn't correspond to coaches and owners. And I was like, man, they were talking about that. He was talking about that in 1999 or something. So it just was, it's like this is just so tropish. And like, now my favorite thing about it is Lawrence LT's in it.
Yeah.
And it does bring up some of the concussion stuff that's kind of interesting. But other than that, it seems kind of basic.
You could not be more wrong,
beaming,
dude. I've been
got the girls screaming.
Really beaming.
Got the girls screaming.
Dude, listen, that is one of my all-time favorite football movies.
Oh,
I've been watching that since, dude, I was way too young to be watching it. I've probably been watching that movie since I was in like 6th grade. Dude, that's a great movie. I can't believe you don't like that movie, man.
I'm halfway through. It's got to do a lot in the back end to pull me up.
Have you never seen it?
No, I've seen it. It's just been so long ago, and it's just like, so I went back. Like I'm really excited for the new Top Gun to come out. Like I want to see that
tomorrow.
I went and watched.
See that? I don't give a shit.
I went and watched the old one, and it held up completely.
It does. It's still not as good as Iron Eagle, but it does hold up.
First I love
Days of
Iron
Thunder
Eagle.
is better than all of them.
I love Iron Eagle. It's one, but there is a cult of people that like to trash on Iron Eagle on the internet.
Oh yeah.
Like the right. And this is funny, is like they were talking about how you can see the strings of the like when they made the seats, like the airplane above, you can see like a model airplane like this one right here or something. You just like
hey, you know what? That
I love Iron Eagle. I love Slappy and Chappy. Yeah, but who's the guy that owned the little restaurant?
Oh yeah.
Hey, by the way, one of the most underrated Sylvester Stallone movies of all time, Over the Top.
Oh, I love
you ever
that.
seen Over the Top?
Yeah,
dude, that's a great movie.
Yeah,
dude.
that's Sylvester Stallone. That's the one where the dude drinks the motor oil.
Yeah,
and then arm wrestles. So that's my first part. But I am excited about that, but sometimes it's about when you see a movie that is what makes it, like what age group you are and at the time and the presence it is. My second ice up pick goes to Mr. Kevin Avery, and this is just from the Panthers creator chat, and probably not cool to me be pulling people's pulling back the curtain. But first, this is looks like it's clearly in response to Cody's talk about Brady Christensen at left tackle and Akim Ekwonu at guard. And he put this is what his analogy was, or whatever. It says, let's say you all work at a warehouse. When you started last year, you wore some Uggs, but on your year anniversary, you got the best steel toe shoes available. So when you go to work the following week, are you wearing the steel toe boots or the Uggs? Now, you could just say you would prefer to put Akim Ekwonu at left tackle, bro. Like, who the hell wears Uggs? Number one. Nobody wearing no damn Uggs. Man, like, come on. I'm icing up Uggs. I hate Uggs. I hate girls that wear Uggs. I hate Uggs, period. They are fugly. They're ugly. Not down with the Uggs. So I'm icing up Uggs in that bizarre analogy of who the hell works in a wear. Do Uggs make like real boots? Do
I
they
mean,
work like
they
work
mostly
boots?
make.
Do they make
Yeah, they
work
mostly
boots?
make work boots. They
They
mostly
do?
work boots.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh man,
But,
now I thought they made chick boots. Now
That's how
maybe I
I
gotta
first
ice
knew
myself up
Moon
for
boots,
not
yeah.
knowing that Uggs makes work boots. Man, I wouldn't wear no Ugg work boot anyway. Get them Timberlands on, bro. That's my
By the
ice
way,
ups for tonight.
I just told him his comparisons are terrible.
That is a very bad analogy, by the
It's
way.
a
Like,
very, very bad
It's
analogy.
stretching really, really hard.
As
Yeah.
And by the
someone
way,
who
like-
makes bad analogies, that's a bad analogy.
And by the way, like the 4-man rush guys, they keep on pushing this Michael Jordan thing. Like Michael Jordan is this really good guard that has all this untapped potential, and he's actually good, even though every metric rated him below average last year. But yet somehow Brady Christensen is Uggs. Okay. Was that the last of your?
That's it.
Time? Okay. I guess I'll go ahead and go next, man. Both of my ice ups come from the UFC over the past few days. By the way, my other favorite sport. If you don't know, I only love two sports: football and mixed martial arts. And there's this series called Dana White's Contender Series. And if you win on Dana White's Contender Series, you get an opportunity to fight in the UFC. Well, this dude gave a post-fight press conference, and it has to be one of the worst ever given, and probably what you shouldn't say if you're trying to take a step up in an organization. Or, I don't know, at least you tell me what you think.
Last fight, I was tired. I was exhausted. I'm about to launch this NFT that's going to change the fight game. And I put in 30 all-nighters before that fight. I had herpes before that fight, 2 outbreaks in the span of a week. I'm here.
What?
Whatever, it doesn't matter. I fight.
He said he had a herpes outbreak. So one man was talking about NFTs and then talked about his herpes outbreak as that being a reason why he hadn't been
Shut up.
fighting
30
all
all-nighters in a row, like he was in the desert praying or something for 30 days.
Oh, dude, the fact that you said that on air live for everyone, like, bro, all right, to each their own, I suppose.
dude's out there getting some ass, and that's why he's getting the herpes. Like that's why he's pulling the all-nighters and getting herpes, bro.
Yeah, man, dude.
Yeah.
Party to him, man. Power to him. And then the last one is this poor soul. So at the UFC pay-per-view, a young lady tried to bum rush the stage. And let's just say it didn't turn out well.
Oh my God.
Watch her.
Oh shit.
What happened?
Yeah, what happened?
So,
Why did she fall?
All right,
That
so
guy
look.
on the edge.
So look, keep an eye out for this dude right here. He's like a bodyguard. He's got an eye on her.
Oh shit.
Oh, he just shoved her right off and threw her right down to the floor. Oh, one more time. Watch her the whole time. Dude, because people were saying this guy could play offensive lineman for the Panthers.
Oh shit.
I want to see her walking off afterwards. Are they arresting her afterwards?
Yeah, that was. They're arresting her after bringing
That's
so
funny.
yeah, man. That's you know, don't quit rushing the stage, man. That and the guy that was rushing Dave Chappelle the other night, man. That's just crazy, man. Quit rushing stages. Quit rushing octagons. People starting fights with Mike Tyson of all people.
Yeah,
Come on, man. Quit
Have
starting
you
shit.
have you ever seen the movie How High?
Oh yeah.
So that guy that was said the herpes thing or whatever. Like, do you remember the Indian dude in that movie who had herpes? And they were like,
yeah, they never wanted to smoke with.
and they went ahead at the blunt, and he goes, and Meth Man goes, man, your shit on your lip got some shit on its lip. All right, who else has got an ice up pick for us?
I'll go. I got two little ones. So, like, I'm always amazed at how much people will spend money on things. Like, so just guys, say you had an unlimited amount of money. What would be the most you would spend on a car?
100K.
100K.
Oh, come on, CK. You can't even get a good Lamborghini for 100K.
What about you, Tony?
And a good truck these days is 100K.
Yeah, a good
like
truck's about 80,000. Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't need, like, honestly, the appeal of like a really expensive sports car has never been, appealing to me.
Same for me.
I know that Will Smith has a $5 million RV, and Jeff Bezos did just buy a $500 million yacht. So go ahead.
Master Bezos. But what I'm saying is, you probably wouldn't spend like an absorbent amount of money. You buy a nice vehicle. Well, this guy in Florida, Robert J. Guarani, I think is his name, spent $704,000 on a Ford GT. There's only like 300 of these in the world. Driving it off the lot and totaled it.
Oh
no! He tells.
I hope he had that gap insurance.
Yeah. He tells the cops, well, the report says that he was unfamiliar with the manual transmission. So if you're going to spend that much money on a vehicle, wouldn't you familiarize yourself with the manual transmission before you get it and drive it? Well, anyway,
yeah,
he said
it's called learn how to drive like an adult.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Well, that's what the headline of the report says. But then he told the cops that the muddy pavement and old tires and fresh detailing caused the 550 horsepower supercar to hit a tree. If you pay $704,000 for
it better
a car,
not have no old tires on it.
You damn right it better not have no old tires.
It was like the first car that was ever invented, and they were the original tires.
Yeah.
And you best believe that even if you had insurance, they ain't covering $704,000 of that insurance.
That thing. Sorry, man. We got the blue book at $84,000 on this.
Exactly, bro.
So I hope you enjoyed that one. And then my second one's just a real quick one. Tony, you reminded me of this watching movies the other day. Me and my wife watched the new Rambo movie, or the latest Rambo movie. It's not even new; it's a few years old. Pretty good movie. It's about 75% in Spanish, which I'm not icing them up for that. I'm okay if they want to put it in Spanish. But if you're going to do that,
is that the one where his like niece goes to like Mexico or something, gets kidnapped or something?
Yeah,
okay.
And I'm fine.
I forgot about that one.
Yeah, I'm fine with it being in Spanish. But if you're going to put it in Spanish, put subtitles on it for me. Like, at least let me read. I'm watching the whole movie and I really don't know what's going on because there's no subtitles. And I was like, well, that's really, really interesting for a movie, for a Rambo movie to not have, like I said, I don't mind it being a different language, but give me something where I can understand it and not hear 25% of what's going on.
How dare you expect there to be English subtitles on that instead of learning Spanish?
Yeah.
I'll get right on that. TK, what you got for us?
All right, I'm going to share one. Here, give me a second. I'm gonna share my screen.
He's gonna share his screen. Tell your wife I said congratulations, by the way.
Oh, I will. And this is actually about that.
Oh, okay.
All right, so this is my wife's graduation. She's graduating from Liberty University, aka Malik Willis's alma mater.
Nice.
And so this is a video. We were there on Saturday. I was there Friday and Saturday, but Saturday she did her official walk. And so basically the way that it works, and I'm sure it's very similar to your graduation as well, Tony, is you have everybody directed and they kind of stand in line. They wait to be read out their diploma. They go up there and then they are supposed to return to the seats, right? Well, that's not exactly what happened here at Liberty. There's one particular person I'm going to point out, and I just want you to understand how much I felt sorry for this poor soul that had to constantly be just completely ignored, just disobeyed in every facet. But anyway, here we go. It's no sound, so don't worry about it. So this is my wife, and here, let me do this. Kudos to my wife. She graduated while raising my son, taking care of me, working for the most part, and she graduated with all A's, so with 4.0.
Good for her.
So awesome. I got to shout her out because that was extremely stressful for her to make it through that, but she did, and this is obviously a culmination of that, and also happy Mother's Day to everybody that is a mother or has to be a mother to somebody. But that being said, so this is my wife. This is her right here, walking across now. But that's not who I want you to focus on. You're going to see the camera pan down, and this poor woman with her arm pointing to the left in her red little poncho She was standing there for at least 2 or 3 hours telling all of these students, go this way. We got to get you back to your seats. Go this way. When I tell you that there's maybe 5 people in their seats of maybe 2,000 people that have been graduated by this point or walked already, I'm not even kidding you. Like, you'll see, like, even, you know, some of it here, like, it zooms in a little bit, but basically nobody's making eye contact with her. What they'll do is they'll just like move a little bit to the right and they'll just walk right past her. And then if they do,
that one went like, yeah.
No, what you don't see is every person who did go that route just exited farther back. They just left
They pulled the old Joe Biden on them,
bro. And so this poor girl is just constantly trying to get all of these people, and I've got to ice up my wife here too because this is her coming down as well, and she didn't even see her. Watch this. She's
looking at you.
To be fair, that woman could say something to them. It doesn't look like she's trying to communicate.
She was, and everybody was just like, "No, I'm."
I feel like people are gonna give her like a 5 when they walk by and be like,
"Why even be there? Like, why even? Like, if I'm her, I've given up after the second person."
Bro, like, it because they can't. Like, you're supposed to. You know, number one, I think there's like a level of respect that's supposed to be a part of it. I don't know. Maybe you can tell me, Tony. You know, whether that's
you don't want to make a scene.
But
I think you just don't want to make a scene, and who really cares at that point? Is like,
Right.
There's so many names. I mean, they'll figure it out.
The other part is there's also rain on the way, right? This is like she's in a
They're trying
poncho. Let's put that into perspective. She's in a raincoat. And it was raining a little bit. There was sprinkling happening. Majority of them left before any rain was happening. But I mean, and I get it, you know, obviously if you've got your diploma or did your walk, you've got your video, you've got your picture, you've got everything that you need to be able to put on your Facebook or Instagram, that's already happened. So why am I going to sit here and watch other people get that? You know,
It's like, but people just didn't see her. She was like
they did.
invisible.
She
was just invisible.
No, they saw her. Every single person saw this girl. And what they would do is they would just willfully avoid eye contact and just walk past her. Or if they
didn't
did
want to go
listen
back
to
to
her,
their seat.
there were a few people that just listened to her and they said, "No, I'm not doing that," and walking straight, like just like straight up.
What if the first person in line decided to do that and wrote it on a note and just passed it to every person behind them, and they all just decided, like when they were reading that note, let's do this.
Right, but nonetheless, like that was you know, I just want to ice that girl up and ice my wife up even because she didn't even see her. She legitimately didn't see her, but that, you know, obviously a great accomplishment that she had, and all those kids probably have a lot to be happy about being able to get through 4 years of college, if not more, and a lot of great accomplishments along the way. And so I'm not going to ice them up too much, but that poor girl, I got to say, ice up.
I cannot. This reminds me slightly of a graduation story. I cannot remember if it was my wife's master's degree. What it was it? But I was in the audience. I remember sitting up top at Minji's Coliseum, and the funny thing is like every time. So there was this, like, you walk across the stage, you'd shake the hand, you take the picture with this one person, and then you dip out and you go down these steps, and there was this one handrail. Like, I mean, it's a natural handrail. Like, you're going down steps in front of thousands of people.
Right.
You want to use the handrail, and the gowns that, like, the gown I just took off, you got these big swoopy arms. Every person that used the handrail got stuck. Their gown got caught and it was just like a game where we just watched like 700 people have the same thing happen to them. So, all right, that's the C3 Panthers podcast, brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com, where every Tuesday night we chop up the latest Panthers news and opinions from the fan perspective. My name's Tony Dunn. You can follow me on Twitter at @cat_Chronicles. You can call into the show at 252-228-5098. Cody Lack, tell them how to get after you.
Yeah, find me on Twitter at Cody Lack, CODYLAC. You'll see a bunch of people retweeting me and telling me how stupid I am. That's how you know it's me. Still the writer for drafttech.com, but that just wrapped up. So, hey, man, hit the like and notification bell and check us out this Friday for the Friday Free For All, where you, yes, you, whoever you are listening, you can join the show, come on the show, and be a part of the conversation every Friday at 7 p.m. on the Friday Free For All.
CK, how can they get after you?
You can find me on all the social medias, Codizzle Allen. And yeah, just come check out. I might stream from time to time. I'm gonna try to start streaming a little more on YouTube. So if you guys are interested, go check me out over on YouTube, Codizzle Allen, and do some streaming.
Nice. The Stat Daddy, the Bat Daddy, and now the Bird Daddy. How can they find your work?
You can find me at the Bat Daddy 52 on Twitter is my personal handle. Check out the show. It's at SCS Podcast 1 for the time being. We go live Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube. This weekend is our 4-year anniversary. It's going to be a big show. It's going to be a lot of changes going on with the show, so tune in and find out.
Oh, man, I can't wait. I will be there. All right, Cody Lack, take us out of here.
All right, Panther Nation, C3 Panther family. Until next time, keep pounding.
Keep pounding.